Hello everybody, this is Cyrus coming at you with another video tonight, and I want to talk about one of the most common inquiries that we get over at the Afterlife Topics Facebook group, which by the way is a lot bigger than this YouTube channel, which is basically in the YouTube slums because we have like very few subscribers. But anyway, so the question, the inquiry, the issue, and sometimes people come in, very distressed about it, is that why am I not receiving signs from my deceased loved one? And I will definitely empathize and say that this sucks when this happens. But there's reasons why this may be happening, and it doesn't mean that you should give up hope. I do recommend learning about the objective evidence of the afterlife, and so I typically send people to victorzammit.com. That's Z-A-M-M-I-T. First name Victor, V as in Victor. Right. So I recommend going to that website because it lays out about 35 to 40 different specific areas of evidence about life after death, which you can study. And it takes only the most stubborn skeptic to do the research and learn about the evidence, including the scientific evidence, and then walk away and still say, there's no evidence for the afterlife. So I think for most of us, we can take that and then we can have a reasonable impression about life after death, the subject, which shows that when you have a person experienced physical death, which happens to all of us, that they are in fact fine and in a different parallel dimension. But not everybody gets the benefit of having experiences. Or if they do have experiences but it's too nebulous, they can't put their finger on what it was, or if it was a real experience. So they they really stress about this, and it is a stressful thing to happen. So firstly, for people who are having no experiences, here's what I suggest. Connection with the other side depends a lot upon your mental ability to do it. If you have no mental ability to do it, there's a good chance that your thoughts are too consumed with worldly things and you're not able to slow down and possibly connect with the other side. So if your day-to-day life is really stressed out, your diet is kind of bad, you're just going from like the office or your workplace to you take a little break in between, you guzzle a couple cans of soda, you eat some greasy food, you get back to work, you come home, you deal with the kids, you deal with problem after problem after problem, and then by 10 p.m. at night you've just finished like just a non-stop flurry of stress and problems. Then you're not going to be in a conducive state to have an after-death experience happen, possibly. One, you're not slowing down enough to allow it to happen, but you're also not, developing your consciousness enough to be able to more easily connect with that side. Because it's not easy to develop your consciousness if your thoughts are consumed 24 hours a day by your stressful life. So what I would do if I were in that situation, and I've had loved ones cross over and I've been able to meet them astrally, but I think the only reason that I'm able to do that is because I take active steps. So what I would do is, if my life were imbalanced, if it was non-stop stress and non-stop havoc, and I had a close loved one die, I would most likely take some time away, gauge it financially, but this is your mental well-being at stake, and so to me, money shouldn't be a big factor. Take a couple weeks off, cash in your 2-week vacation, and spend some solitude time. Go to a cabin in the woods and just meditate, think and focus on your life and bigger issues, and I should say not the problems in your life, but focus on like your existence, focus on your consciousness, what your purpose is in life, why you're here, what your purpose is in the grand scheme of things. Think about life after death, meditate on that subject, on where you will go and what you will do as your existence continues. Think about the responsibility you have as a soul who exists independently and is supposed to be one small piece of a much bigger puzzle. Put all those things together and meditate on this stuff and keep electronics far away from you. avoid habits, try to eat good food during this time, and meditate and pray every day and go to sleep and try to keep consciousness while you fall asleep to invoke a, kind of like an astral experience or a lucid dream. And again, meditate, practice positive intention, and just keep all this going for 2 weeks. And I can almost guarantee you're going to have some after-death contacts happen. You're going to be, if you're doing this correctly, you're going to be receptive enough to allow them to be able to make contact with you, because it's not easy for them to make contact. That's the big deal. So typically the reason they're not making contact is because they're trying to, but they're there kind of like in that film Ghost. You know, their hand is going through your body, and they can't feel you. They're frustrated because you can't see them, you can't feel them, because they're on one wavelength and you're on a different wavelength. So they're not able to make that contact. And the closest they can do is wait until you're a little bit closer to their side, especially if you begin to have like an out-of-body experience. And I talk about that a bit in other videos on this channel. You can check through the archives and you'll get more info about that. So it's almost like you have to meet them halfway a little bit. Next, I also get people who have some contact experiences, but it's like it ends and they want more, and they're scared. They don't know if their loved one is okay. I would say the vast majority of the time your loved one is okay, because most people are decent, honest, nice people. If your loved one was not a decent, honest, nice person and was abusive or murderous or psychopathic, maybe they're not in such a good place. But generally speaking, you know, that's not something you have to worry about. But it's the same issue that it's the same solution that I just mentioned. So if you only have a few experiences, but that's it, you want those experiences to come back. Again, try what I suggested. If you can't do what I suggested, see what the closest approximation might be. So if you can't go off to the woods and rent a cabin, can you take some quiet time out every single day? But don't let that be a cop-out, because if you can go all the way and you can really take some solo time away, that's the best. But if you absolutely cannot, maybe you're absolutely there's no one else to take care of the kids, you're taking care of a sick person in the house, whatever it might be, then find the closest way you can implement a strategy like that. So that's what I would do. This is not professional advice. This is not psychiatric advice. It's just a bit of metaphysical advice from a non-professional. So just keep that in mind too, okay? Well, I hope that helps. If you like what I have to say, please hit subscribe. I have classes twice a week to talk about life after death, as well as a couple of books out, Understanding Life After Death and the Afterlife and Beyond, where I talk more specifically about things like astral projection, out-of-body experiences. You can check those out and more by going to the description of the video. You click Show More, and then all that stuff will come up. That's about it. I will see you guys on the next video.